with us Dr. Surbhi, the very talented Dr. Surbhi, who's got rank 50 in PDCET 2024 exam. Many congratulations, Dr. Surbhi. This interview is for you to discuss with us, to discuss with the students of the next batch that how you prepared for the exam. So let's start with your background. Where did you do your UG and PG from, Doctor?
Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wish. And ma'am, I've done my MBBS from JLN Medical College, Ajmer, Rajasthan. I'm from 015 batch. And my PG is from RVRS Medical College, Bhilwara, Rajasthan. It was a NBE DGO.
Okay, NBE DGO. Right.
Yes.
When did you complete it?
Ma'am, this year only, in May. Uh,
This year.
Yes, ma'am. In May, on 7th of May, I had my practical exam of NBE DGO. And then after 10 days, the results were announced. And after the results were announced, after that only I started my preparation for PDCET exam, basically.
You started after that.
Yes, ma'am. To be very
So when
frank, from
was the
June.
exam? When was the exam? The PDCET exam was in which month?
Ma'am, PDCET was was on 21st of July, and I started my preparation from June, 1st of June.
Oh, only 1 or 2 months. Now tell me,
Yes,
how
ma'am.
was your reading during your DGO times for your exam, the final exam of DGO? How was the preparation?
Ma'am, during first year of a residency, we did not get that much of time, but I always preferred reading standard textbooks. Since it was a NBDGO, we were very afraid that our paper might be like the DNB people and we'll be having a theory exam and practical exam in that manner. And it was exactly like that. We had our papers checked by the NBE people as well as our theory exam, practical exam was a different center, mostly in corporate hospitals where the DNB courses are being conducted. My center was Maulana Azad Medical College, Delhi, for practical exam. So I had my
It was
preparation for uh I had my preparation for DGO in that way only. I read for Williams and Novak's and Arias Fernando's in my first year, but not complete because we do not get that much of time. And just before 2 months before my theory exams, I read from JB Sharma. Otherwise, I was following the
Oh,
standard textbooks.
so were
And
you
then
you were reading before your final exams also?
yes, ma'am. I was consistent on my readings.
Wonderful. Tell me a little about this NBE DGO. Is this new?
Yes, ma'am. It was started. Mine was the first batch only. It was
Or
introduced 2 years back only, and with my internship only, I took this NBE DGO.
so now there are two kinds of DGOs. One is NBE DGO and the other one is the usual DGO which we had earlier. Or
We
that
had
DGO is scrapped out.
that DGO is stopped, and now the NB National Board of Examination has started 2 year course DGO also, just like the DNB courses, and it has been started in all the generally in the new medical colleges of the states. Mine was in
Now,
RVRS Medical
now DGO
Government
is
College.
NBE DGO only.
And still in some in some cities, like very few, they have these DGO.
The usual DGO, the one which
The
was there before.
usual DGO one.
But now everything will be replaced with NBE DGO, you believe.
Yes, ma'am. Matlab, ours was the first batch, and next consecutively the batches are coming. The passing rate was similar to DNB exams. OBJY passing rate was 66% only.
So what
And
do you think? A
ours
lot of
was,
UG people, a lot of MBBS students also ask me that they definitely want to do OBG. They're not getting MS, MD, OBG. So do you think NBE DGO is a good option, right?
yes, ma'am.
The
If they
teaching
want, like, they can go for the PDCET exam, just like as a route of entry through it. So they can
right.
definitely choose the course.
So, okay, so that is one good point that we got from you that NBE DGO is a good option for those who definitely want to do OBG and are not getting a seat in MD MS because just like you, they have to read through the 2 years and then in the next 2 months they can give this PDCET exam and get a DNB seat.
And
Right.
ma'am,
Now
the
tell me how
level won't be that the level was high. So like I'm not afraid of my now DNB theory exams after 2 years because I've
you are
already
prepared.
gone
Yes.
through this through that process.
Right. So you're going to do better than the other DNBs who will be freshers. Now tell me, how did you prepare in the last 2 months? Just 2 months, and you cracked the exam with such wonderful rank. So how did you do that?
Ma'am, I just revised my notes, like whatever I have made during my DGO time. And then I also took the Reproneat app, and I solved all the MCQs, and whatever portion I used to find tough in the Reproneat, like the MCQs, which I went wrong, I used to go through the video portion of that section also, which helped me in clearing my concepts. Because most the best thing which I liked about this Reproneat app was the MCQs. They had all the the basics as well as the advanced MCQs, so it helped me in clearing my concepts more. Means sometimes we just read from the textbooks, and it like the concepts are not that much clear when we solve the
Right.
MCQs. And as soon as I solved the MCQ and it went wrong, and I then read the description below, and then it helped me in revising all my concepts and going through that video part. So that thing cleared my concepts, and I was like, before my exam I was confident in my preparation then.
Right. So since you just had 2 months, you had time only to go through the MCQs, and then the MCQs which you would find difficult, you would go to the videos. Right.
The which went wrong, most of the, like, which I did not even score 50%, like in that module, then I used to go through the
Mm.
video part of that uh,
And you
otherwise.
are one of those few students who, during their DGO, MD, or MS or DNB, have read the textbooks. Even people doing MD, DNB, MS, they don't have the time to read the textbooks. So for you, it was so easy to just read those MCQs in 2 months and get such a good rank. To the students who are not able to read textbooks, I would suggest that you have to, when you take the Reproneat app, you have to go through all the videos and the MCQs, and then you will be able to get rank like Dr. Surbhi got, because you had a firm base. You had read the textbooks in your first year and second year, which I always keep telling students. But that's not always possible. A lot of you did a great work, but that's not always possible for a lot of residents. A lot of residents, there are two kinds of people, when it comes to reading. Some people love the big books. Like I, even in my first year MBBS or second year MBBS, I would find the biggest book of that subject and I would start reading it. There was VD Joshi for physiology, which every student would have, but I never read that. I read Guyton and even during my exams. But there is the other kind of student who will read VD Joshi, who will find a BD Chaurasia, who will find Datta better than Williams. So there are these two kinds of students. If you are the big book reader, then you just need 2 months to prepare. You need those MCQs, and that you'll be able to crack. But if you're the small book reader, then you need to take Reproneat app for 6 months or 8 months, and then you will be able to crack with a good rank. That is what I believe.
Yes, and ma'am, there might be some students like me, like my weakest portion always was the MCQ part. Always I feel like I can, I have a good base of knowledge, and I can, and my concepts are clear. But whenever it comes to, solving MCQs, that analytical skill, solving in a limited period of time, that, uh,
That
some
comes with
kind of,
practice. That comes with practice. Any kind of
so
student, MCQs will
it
be
helped
difficult.
me. The Reproneat app helped me a lot in that, because they were, all the MCQs, they were like in a kind of exam pattern, like 60 MCQ, 60 minutes. So I used to solve it like in a particular period of time. Ki ek ghante mein I have to solve this much now, and then I got confident much ki हाँ ठीक है, my time practice is also being simultaneously going on. So
Wonderful. So your
that was
method of preparation is very nice. This is what I would suggest to students if you're doing DGO, MDMS, whatever. Read the books, and then MCQs are going to be easy for you. Any
it.
tips that you would want to give to the next batch?
Ma'am, I would always suggest ki during your residency also, like if you are not able to read the standard textbook, but at least keep some handy notes, or some, at least a basic datta also if you can read. But at least whatever you see in your labor room or in your daily ward rounds, at least go through that particular topic that day. That will that will have a very long lasting memory, because that case you have seen in the ward today, and you will be able to remember it for a longer period of time, and that will make your concepts like super clear. And the concepts are the base of any competitive exam, I feel, ma'am. So
I truly
always,
believe in what you're saying, but that one word which I wouldn't fully agree is datta. Do you
no
think it's
ma'am,
a very good
I'm
book?
matlab, if students are not
Because
reading anything,
these
but at least,
interviews, students see these interviews and they mark every word that you have said. And if you have said datta, there are going to be people covering it from finishing it from cover to
no
cover
ma'am,
8 times
actually
because
personally, I haven't read
doctors
datta at
consider
all after
datta.
MBBS,
You haven't
but
read
I'm
datta, no?
no ma'am.
Don't claim datta. It's not a book, which
No,
will
I'm
make
not
your
at all.
concepts clear.
Datta is not at all a good book. But for
Uh,
at least for the PG, it's not a good book. But And
I hope the people who have written the book, they don't land upon these videos, they don't come across these videos. But seriously, it's not a book neither for PG, UG preparation, your PG exam preparation, neither for PDCET nor for anything.
yes,
The
ma'am.
concept, there are concepts, there are a lot of mistakes.
Yes,
In
ma'am.
fact, MCQs are made from the mistakes of certain books, like the one you mentioned. So
Yes,
that is a
ma'am.
book. That's a no-no for PDCET or any competitive exam preparation. So they can have their notes or whatever, cut your Williams into small parts and then take you to
Yes,
your
ma'am. We can do that
boards.
thing.
Dr. Surbi wants to say that you have to read everything. You see a
Read
case and you go back to your room and you read that case.
at least a
Isn't
bit. Reading is not just the the reading before 2 months before the theory exams is enough, but for a long lasting, the concepts clearing and everything, a regular reading is must.
Wonderful.
And if
So
it is
what
just standard
happens with
textbook,
a lot of
okay.
students, what happens, I want to bring out a point is a lot of students message me that after joining DG or after joining MD, MS, they are so stressed that, it is overwhelming. They're depressed, they're stressed that which field they have chosen, they'll not be able to, cope up with the stress. There's a lot of workload and they get depressed and then they just somehow carry on and it becomes very difficult to open their books. So, any message for those kinds of students who are very depressed?
Ma'am,
I am
it
having
happened with the
messages.
everyone. It happens with
It
everyone
happens
during,
to everybody.
especially during the obs gynae
So,
residency.
how did you change your mind? How did you change your stress level? How did you decrease the stress level and go switch over to reading books every day? That becomes
Ma'am,
difficult when you're
during
stressed.
the first year, it was very difficult for me also to read because, especially during the first year, the load is also high. The toxicity is also more because, there are seniors above you. Matlab, everything is more in the first year. At that particular point of time, it was very difficult. But the days when you get that feeling, I did not used to read that particular day. And then the next day when, I used to calm down my mind and I used to feel like exams are more tough. It's NB, DGO. If I don't clear the exam, then so I used to, think about that particular exam that I have to crack the exam also. I have to ultimately think of my future. I have to go for secondary DNB. That thing,
That's a
motivated me.
very good
Otherwise,
thing.
uh,
So students
thinking
need to
about the
listen to this,
residency,
that Dr. Surbhi, who's got such a wonderful rank in her first attempt, also got depressed in her first year and also was disturbed where there were many days where when she could not read, right? There were days where you
yes,
would be
ma'am.
sad because of the toxicity and you would not read. But the other days you would come and you would sit and that the exam thing that I have to clear the exam, I have to do something after this, that big overpowered the stress that overcome and you had to overcome the stress and you had to start reading. So it happens. Those phases are going to be there, even the biggest topper's life, but they have to overcome this. You have to overcome the stress. MBBS is those days are very comfortable days. You go to classes, you
Yes,
bunk
ma'am.
classes, you do whatever you want, and then suddenly you're shifted to residency and that to OBG residency. So it is going to be difficult. The switchover is going to be, the transition is going to be difficult, but you have to hold yourself up. Nobody's going to come to help you. You have to be your biggest support and you have to start reading. People do it and everyone will be able to do it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. So that's the tip that you were giving, that you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
to read. So your first tip was you have to read every day,
Ma'am,
right?
if not possible every day, then at least make a
As
habit of
far as
reading at
possible.
least 2 or 3 days
As
in
far
a
as
week,
possible.
at least as far as possible. Yes, ma'am.
What else would you suggest? Anything else
Uh,
for those who just can't read?
just can't read. Uh,
And there are a lot of people who will message me that there are 15 days how to prepare. There are 10 days how to prepare. So I really want to listen
Ma'am,
from
particularly for the exam, for PDCET exam, they can just follow the MCQs in your app if they're just having 15 days, because that will also make the concepts more clear because they're starting from the basics to the advanced portion. So they will have, the concepts from the basic part, like the physiology part, anatomy part will also be clear, and the advanced infertility concepts will also be clear. Because in every question there is a description also. So if they're just having those 15 days, they can go through just the MCQs, and if they are preparing, a bit early, then they can go through the tough part of the video also, tough part of the MCQ, that video part. And they can completely rely on that, that PDCET structured course, because, it was a very confusion in my mind also, that how much tough is the level of the exam. especially the PDCET exam, because I don't not have the idea that whether recalls are available. Only the Reproneat app was there, where the recalls were available of the previous year. So I was very much confused that, what type of questions are being asked. Is it a NEET PG type or is it a NEET SS type? Uh, every senior used to guide us different कि इतना पढ़ लो, it's बहुत है. नहीं, some used to say that 120 questions में से 20 will be very tough. They will be super speciality type. So it was, very confused state of mind. Then when I subscribed to the app, there were recalls available. I went to the recalls. I came to know, okay, this is the level of the exam, and I had to keep my preparation in a limited way. Not I have to go to that very
Right.
super
Don't have to
speciality type,
right.
because that would, drop my rank. Because if I go on studying everything,
It's a lot
and
of
then my
effort.
tutor always there to guide. So I used to ask you, ma'am, like infertility may we have to read the starting portion or the end. So that,
Yes.
helped
You were the
me
one
a lot,
asking.
because I was much confused ki I have to go that super speciality part or that limit karna hai apne aap ko. So that helped me a lot. So
Yes,
I would
because if
advise
you
ki
go
those.
after those 20 super specialty level questions, you miss the 100 basic questions.
Yes, ma'am. I would say that. So
And the
those people
basic
who are much
questions in
confused,
PDCET are quite difficult. The obstetric questions are quite difficult. There
ma'am.
are stuff as NEET assessments. You don't have to read reproductive medicine's advanced part, oncology advanced part, but obs and gynae you have
That
to read.
basic part is that, where people used to make mistakes. That is the basic, ma'am. The basics
So
have to be
OBS
clear.
part is same for NEET SS, it is same for FET, it is same for PDCET. OBS part is tough for all the exams. It's the toughest, I would say, for all the exams. Super
Yes.
speciality, anyways, even for NEET SS, it's not very difficult what the questions that they ask. So it's the third tip that Dr. Surbhi gave was stay focused, read only what is needed.
What is
Don't
needed?
concentrate on the additional part that I'll do extra and I'll score extra. That's not how it is. You have to read the basics,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Wonderful,
I,
Dr. Surbhi.
we can completely rely on like what the recalls are, like how the exam pattern is being. So means
Because
people who are totally confused.
these are exams where you don't get a lot of seniors to tell you a lot of things. That senior
Yes,
also
ma'am,
gave
that
one
was
paper, so they don't know. They don't know much about it. They just prepared. It was a stroke of luck. They got good ranks. If you have 3 4 year papers, you yourself understand where you
the
lack or
pattern.
what things you have to do and how much you have to limit yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. It was really nice talking with you, Dr. Surbhi. I'll stay in touch with you.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. Now I'll remove the part after this. Now tell me, you have sent me those